Mellor, lovely cushioned header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Episode 6 of the Aussie Red Show. We just played Newcastle at Anfield, and the finale was, incredible. Last kick of the game, 2-1 win, unbelievable. Not pretty good result considering my initial thoughts were it looked like it was going to pan out like Fulham, like Crystal Palace, even like United at one stage. But anyway, we got the win 2-1. What a finale. Anyway, straight on to the host, Andrew, or as usual, we'll get his thoughts on the game first. What did you, Andrew, what do you think, mate? I know you're not feeling too well and your voice is a bit crook, but do your best, man.
Yeah, buddy, thank you. I'm going to try not to talk too much this podcast, but for me, the game it felt disjointed. It felt, obviously, Newcastle's game plan was to come out and disrupt.
Mm-hmm.
I thought in midfield, Harvey Elliott again was by far
he bossed it.
The cut up, even in our own midfield. Fabinho was average. Henderson was rubbish. He's clearly Henderson is something not right there. We can't go.
Do you think it's an age thing, or he's 32? I think he's getting to that point where he's just struggling to keep up with the pace in midfield now. I don't know. There's. Look, you can't. Can you blame him for that goal? Maybe. I think to be fair, I think it was more Trent's fault with that shock and pass.
100%. Yeah, I know that
which led to that. Endo just tried to intercept it. It was just unfortunate. It just caught him off step, and that's when that Isca came through and scored to me. A wonderful finish. It was a great goal by Newcastle, to be fair.
We seem to be ripped up in patterns. Like it seems to be that same ball that seems to rip us every time. And sure,
at times, you look at against United, like Marcus Rashford's goal, and then you look at that goal. It kind of seems as if there's been no communication between Gomez and Van Dijk in that middle of defence at the moment. That's a thing that I've noticed. Especially, there's been a couple of times where their goals have gone through the middle of our defence like that, like a through ball, which didn't really happen often against us. You know what I mean? Like Van Dijk usually reads those situations very well. But I know he was on the opposite flank, pressing on the side before that through ball came in. Van Dijk, was he out of? I can't remember. I think he was a little bit out of position there. But look, at the end of the day, that their goal, credit to them. They pressed us to make mistakes, which I noticed quite a lot. They were pressing us to make mistakes, which is usually our game. We made a mistake, and that led to them going up 1-0. So, and then it felt like it was going to be the same old from the beginning of the season. I shouldn't say same old, but it just felt like the last few weeks it was just going to pan out the exact same way.
That's Fulham, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, and Newcastle will be conceded first. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Well, apart from the United game, we can. I think that's like the 8, apart from Bournemouth and United. So you say the last 11 games, I think we've conceded the first goal 7 or 8 times now. So it's a bit of a concern.
We didn't score first at United.
No. I mean that. We. That's what I mean. We haven't, because we haven't scored first. So I mean, we've always conceded that first goal, even though we've turned it around 80% of the time. We've turned it around, but anyway, look. It was a concern. The biggest concern for me was the fact that we had all that possession and no shots on target till the 60th minute.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Huge.
Still Newcastle United, right? No disrespect, but we're at home. We should dominate. I mean, the first half, I think Eddie Howe came out with a game plan to disrupt our, which he did. Clearly, he did, because you can see how much they're disrupting us, how angry Klopp is on the sideline.
Yep.
When obviously, they're carrying on and trying to waste time, which Klopp knew was going to happen. They're going to come out there with a game plan to disrupt us, to take us out of the game, to irritate us, to do the little niggly things to make us react. I thought that Salah was a little bit disappointing in terms of connecting the play down the right wing. I thought Alexander-Arnold was poor. Salah was poor, so I think that right channel.
That right flank was pretty. It was underperforming something chronic, wasn't it?
Well, when Harvey Elliott was over there, wasn't too bad, but when Anderson was over there, it wasn't really.
But like again, like Harvey Elliott, it was his counter-attack that obviously he started the counter-attack that led to our first goal. But yeah, I mean, if Trent's not performing and Salah's not performing, but Harvey is down that flank, I mean, you got two players that aren't performing with him. He's not going to work wonders for him. But I just feel like yes, Salah just had he was just very poor. I just don't know. He just didn't seem to. He wasn't getting in the right spaces. He kept on. He was getting squashed down that flank all the time, and he just wasn't like. I thought he was going to get that goal towards the end. That great tackle by Newcastle. I can't remember the defender's name. That was just bread and butter. Salah finished that, and he didn't. Good defending to be fair, but that led to the. Pretty sure that led to the corner that got the goal in the end anyway. So I mean. Credit to that, but yeah, the ordinary Trent was ordinary. I mean, I can't. Look, we won 2-1, but there was so many things about that game that were really concerning. Like I said, the amount of possession we had and no shot on target to the 60th minute is a huge concern.
Yeah,
100%. And they didn't. Newcastle didn't have Saint Maximum or what's his name. So
Wilson.
So they had no Wilson and Maxim. So if they played, I mean, it could have been different. They would have had, especially if Trent was playing ordinary and Maxim was attacking Trent's side.
Well, if we had Nunez and Thiago, it would have been different too. Right?
Correct. Yeah, and you can play it like that. So, look. At the end of the day, look, I'm stoked that we won 2-1, but we really did struggle at home against Newcastle. To be fair, Newcastle, look, I'm going to give Newcastle credit with the time, but the thing that really, really was annoying me and was pissing me off was that just the blatant diving and slowing up the game and just ruining the rhythm of the game. And it wasn't just one player; it was a team tactic because Pope was doing it when he got it. Joel Linton was the biggest one that was doing it. Like it was kind of frustrating, and they went out and that was their tactic. They knew if they were going to frustrate Liverpool, they needed to frustrate us to stop us playing our game. Which, to be fair, I think we got in the way of playing our own game. I don't think they did.
I think we couldn't boss the midfield in the first half, so we were very susceptible to not controlling that game. We didn't control the midfield again.
Correct.
And I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but you don't control the midfield, you don't control the game. We didn't control the game that well in the first half. We had we had our chances, we had our moments to really sort of probably go on and score a goal, but there was. I didn't think we weren't as bad. I think as Fulham and Palace and Man United, especially Man United, right? But I just felt like we were lacking that creativity in that midfield to sort of break up that disruptiveness to have I think the good thing about Carvalho and Elliott was when they were playing together in the second half. Yes, Newcastle were pretty much by that time Carvalho came on, they'll on empty, right? Yeah. But in that first half, when you got teams like that, that's when that sort of having that player like that, like a Coutinho to break up the play. So I would say Klopp came out when he said I was wrong about the midfield. I was wrong too. I don't think we need one. We need two. We need someone to replace Henderson. Because I don't really feel like we have that player.
I agree. We don't just need one midfielder anymore. We need at least two because, like you said from day one, you've always said it, and you've been the biggest critic of it since the beginning of the season. Ox is going. Hendo's getting tiring. Milner and Ox are gone at the end of the season, pretty much. You got that injuries with Ox. He's a very injury. You got Thiago, who's a great player, but he's injury prone. So our midfield is technically. We're in a little bit of a midfield crisis, in my opinion. So we need some reinforcements. Whether or not it's going to happen at the end of this window, I don't know. I mean, I think if anything's going to happen, I don't think we're going to get anyone, to the liking of, we're certainly not going to get Frankie de Jong. I've said that from day one. I don't think we're going to get him. I know I'd love to. I tell you what, it'd be unreal. But I don't think we're going to sign anyone. We're not going to sign anyone big before the end of I think we'll end up with like Sander Burge from Sheffield United or something. Which
Did you hear? I didn't hear it. I don't know if you heard it, but apparently in the press conference, I did see the commentator mentioning something about Klopp referring to maybe we could be a little bit more ambitious in the transfer market. Now, I don't know whether I didn't hear it, but I heard the commentator say something or alluding to that. So I'm going to go back and actually watch the Newcastle pre-match press conference. If that's what he's saying, he's really frustrated. And I reckon he is already really frustrated. That's why I didn't believe all that bullshit that he said last time about him being wrong. I don't think for 1 second he was actually being wrong. He's covering the ass of FSG. Yeah. And like, you know what, Darren, no matter how many trophies we've won under Klopp, when he does leave Liverpool, because of FSG, I will always wonder how many more trophies we would have won with an actual chairman that would have backed the club properly and financially. We're having a manager like Klopp. It could be the one in like 100 years type manager that we could have had. Right?
Yeah, imagine correct. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm stoked with the success that we've had over the last few years, and it's certainly eased a lot of pain that we went through as a child growing up, as we've explained in previous podcasts, being Liverpool fans in the 90s and the early 2000s, where United and Arsenal were kind of really dominating, and we were just always that team that finished third, or on the occasion second, or fourth, or whatever, and we weren't really competing, but. I'm stoked, but yeah, again, you hit the nail right on the head. If we had owners that were willing to back us financially over the past, since Klopp's come on, like we'd be dominating. We would have won the league a few times, in my opinion. We would have won we won the Champions League more. We would have been probably. I mean, I think on our day we're one of the best teams in the world, which is quite obvious. Last season was a good example of that. Unfortunately, we fell 1 point short, and the Champions League final just fell short. But
before COVID,
can you imagine if we did have, a couple, if that financial backing, like Manchester United have, like, I know they keep coming out saying Glazer's out, but they just splashed some more cash on that Anthony guy. Like,
did that go through that 90? Was it 95 million or something? 90 million?
Yeah, man, I don't know much about that guy, but I know he didn't score much in the Dutch league last year, or he's assisted. I don't know too much about him. I think it sounds more like a panic purchase from United, but that's a problem. They got the money, but they don't have the brains behind the purchasing.
No, and we've got the brains, but just don't have the money. And I think at the end of the day, United have spent $1 billion. I think since the
they've been the biggest spenders, they're like, they're carrying. The Glazers don't spend any money. I'm like, that's the money the club's generated or something. I've heard. I'm like, what do you mean? The only money the club has spent.
The only problem with them is, like I said, we talked about this about I don't want to talk about United too much, but they're just got to get a bit more better football people. I would be spending more money on the people more than the transfers of the players. Our problem is we don't spend enough on the players. We just want to keep going, finding that bargain bin. Now, why would we be linked to Joel Linton? Now, that could all just be BS. I get that.
I hope so. I really do, because I do not rate him at all. I know.
I mean, Joel Linton. I mean, if we sign Joel Linton, I don't think I would watch the Liverpool for 3 games. I'm going to give myself a red card, and I'm not watching it for 3 games.
You're going to headbutt someone.
I'm going to headbutt the wall and give myself a sending off. I mean, this is ridiculous, right?
I hope not. I don't rate Joel Linton whatsoever. He's been the butt of jokes for the Premier League for the last couple of years.
Now, going back on the first half, felt like we were disjointed. We didn't have that creativity in the midfield. He takes off Henderson. He brings on Milner. You messaged me like, I'd love to see your face right now.
I laughed. I seen him getting off, and he was putting his shirt on, and the first thing I thought of was your face. And I'm thinking, I'd love to see Andrew's face, seeing him getting his shirt on. But to be fair, look, he came on and he just covered that right flank, because
Thank God.
The legs were running out of Robbo and Trent down that flank. And to be fair, Klopp got those tactics right towards the end. And that's what I want to check. I think Elliott played more of a central role towards that last 20. I think up until when he is. I think I could be wrong.
I mean, I just can't.
No, I don't think. No, I just felt like he started the attack from more of a central role, as opposed to just on that right side.
Well, what I would say about the game, because now you're going to hear the Newcastle fans going crazy about, you scored Fergie time, and now we've got Kloppy time, so you can you know what, man? Kloppage time.
Yeah.
The thing is, this is what I refer to as poetic justice, right? They've gone down. They wasted too much time. They're fun-assing around. They're faking injuries. They're falling over. I understand there's an element of that when you play Liverpool because you want to disrupt them, but they took it
too far.
they took it too far, and in the end, we scored. And then you know what? All that time that they wasted was when we scored that winner. So that was the best part of us winning that game. I didn't even feel like we really deserved to win that game. I think I
thought a draw was a fair result. I agree.
But the way they played in that second half, falling over, carrying on, I think it served its justice. And I think, people are looking at them now laughing because Klopp was screaming at that fourth official to. You know what, man? That fourth official understands time, Darren, in the same way that you understand time. You're hopeless. When you would tell me you'd be 5 minutes to the train station, it was like 20, right? Like, I wish you are the fourth official at every Liverpool game, mate, because we're just like, 5 minutes, 20 minutes.
Time's an illusion. Time's not real.
Darren
time's real.
you would make a perfect fourth official at Anfield. No, but honestly, man, like. But I just think that it was justice served, and
100%.
In the end, like, we wanted it, and same thing with the United game. They just gave up. They just falling over. I think they were generally running out of steam. Obviously, they didn't have the mental and the physical capacity left in that game.
But when we got the equaliser, you could feel that we were going to go on and win it. And we did. I thought, look, we left to the the latest you could ever leave it, which was literally the last kick of the game, because Pope.
And I think, do you think, that guy just grabbing the ball and falling over like every time.
And like when he was feigning an injury, to come on.
I reckon we should just stop the clock every time there's like someone wasting time, rather than adding the minutes. Do what the NRL does and just completely stop. Like, I know they do it towards the end of the game, but we should just stop the clock. Like, if someone's falling over or there's a free kick, stop the clock automatically. Just someone there stopping it.
I think
we'll know exactly enough amount of minutes left, because like 8 minutes was probably a little bit too much. But it was because Pope. We probably we probably would have drew that game if Pope didn't drop to the ground and wasted a minute and a half, because it gave us extra. It gave it even though we wasted it, it still went 98 minutes. That's why that went 98 minutes, is because Pope dropped and wasted that time. Yeah, but it probably wasn't really 98 minutes. It was probably like 96 or 97.
I can't remember. It was. I think it ended up being it was a 97th minute or something. Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is, you were right. It's 98 minutes when we scored. 98th minute, but 98 minute plus one. So it was heading into the 99th minute, bro. Like, it was a bit late. The point is look, Klopp
when you waste time like that in stoppage time with an injury, I mean, you could probably
exactly, man. That's what I'm saying.
That's going to stop when you drop into the ground as an injury. It's going to add time. But if you grab the ball and you knock the ball around and hold the ball in normal time, you're going to wind that clock down, and it would have been over. If they were a little bit smarter about knocking the ball around and not feigning injuries, Newcastle would have walked away with the draw.
100%, man.
But instead they decided to go diving all over the place. And
playing
like you said,
poetic
justice, and then all of a sudden we scored at the last kick of the game. And spoke that Carvalho got that goal. Another little young gun that he got.
Now, like when we took off Henderson in midfield, we had Cavalli and Elliott and Miller out right. Thank God, not in the midfield. I mean, you see the young energy, these kids with energy, with a point to prove. This is the difference, Darren. They got a point to prove. Little Elliott and Carvalho, they're not the mindset where they've made it. Right,
correct.
And I think Van Dijk, I found Van Dijk to be pretty piss poor again as well. It's
he's lacking form. You definitely. I mean, but he's been on form for a number of years now with us. A couple of 2-3 years, right?
But I thought when Milner would yell at him a little bit. I think that's probably why Klopp put him in midfield at right back as well. Not only because Trent was having a bad game, but just to make sure that back four doesn't do a stupid mistake, because our biggest weakness, other than like off the ball weakness, is our concentration and our composure in key situations.
And look, I know I've spoken about this about Trent in the past, how we have the risk to reward ratio with him moving forward. There was a moment there where in that first half, I think Newcastle mounted a counter attack against us, right? And Trent Trent was stuck up. He's seen the ball go down his flank, but he was walking. And I'm thinking, he looked knackered, Trent, right? I think I actually think Trent looked very tired after 20 minutes. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think
was Calvin Ramsey on the bench, but I mean, I guess that's probably not the right game to bring him on.
No, maybe not. But I honestly thought Trent looked knackered after 20 minutes. I don't know. Maybe he's who knows? Maybe he needs to be rested for a week or two. Maybe I don't know. But it's hard. What's what I'm going to say?
There's no other right back.
I don't know.
Other than Calvin Ramsey.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. Look, Trent, I love Trent, and he's, to be fair, he is one of the best right backs in the world, right? I don't care what anyone says. That, like I've said in the previous podcast, that you can't defend this. I'm like, yeah, but the genius of Klopp is that he uses the risk to reward ratio from that right back. All right. Yes, he's in a right back position, but he's an attacking player, right?
Yeah.
Would he go and I don't think he'd be a good midfield player. I don't think he'd be a good, he might be a good right wing. I don't know, but I think his best football comes from that playing a fullback in the right.
But do you think if we had like a 4-4-2, like if we were playing the old way, that he would actually could fit that Beckham role? That not the right wing.
Yeah, the old 4-4-2 where when you're on the right and left, you were more of a right midfielder. No, yes. Right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he probably would fit that older style of 4-4-2.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he'd be good. Maybe he'd definitely be good as a flank player or a right. I think someone he'd be good as an attacking mid. I don't think so.
No, not attacking mid. No,
I don't think so. No, he needs
best
is his drive, right? And his short passing can be good, but it's not attacking midfield quality, So
no.
Yeah, Trent would be good in a Beckham type role for sure. Yeah,
Carvalho is building to become the Coutinho-esque player that we need so bad, but he's just not there. He's still too young. Like,
how old is he? 19, right? 19, and you can say the same thing about Elliott, but Harvey Elliott's been playing professionally since he was 16, right?
But it doesn't matter. He deserves to play 16.
Correct. The point he's a starter. To be fair, him and Bobby were the two best players for me.
I didn't think Luis Diaz had a bad game. I thought he was running. He was tracking back and running.
Yeah,
I think he was working hard. I thought Salah had a really piss-poor game.
Salah was he was ordinary. I think
Henderson was ordinary. Trent was ordinary. Robbo was a bit ordinary.
Yeah, Robbo looks like he's lost a yard of pace a bit. Robbo, I don't know. He just seems to be.
It's a bit slower.
I feel like it's we're fifth game in. I feel like our back line's a bit tired. They look tired already. I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
Well, he brought Simicast
and
on,
that's it. Yeah, and he did all right when he came on. I know you've been his biggest critic, but Simcast.
Oh, yeah,
you love him. Yeah, you love him, mate. He's a Greek boy just like you. So you're all over it.
Him and Milner, mate, they're my two favourite players.
When you're seeing Simcast and Milner on the sidelines shaping up to come on.
But you know what? But you know what? I know with Klopp, the opportunity to do something like if we had Klopp is the first manager in our era, where you feel like even if he throws on a play you don't like something could still happen. Yeah. It always feels like something could happen, except for that United game in the first half, which is probably the first time since Klopp's come where you feel like nothing's going to happen. But the Newcastle game, I didn't think we were going to walk away. I mean, you got the prediction perfectly, which I was going to have the exact same prediction you did, but you can have it. You know what we should do for the predictions? I think we should write on a piece of paper and then hold it up on the...
Yes. I predicted 2-1, didn't I?
You did. You got it, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, sweet.
You get double points. But I was thinking 2-1 as well, man. We could have...
just maybe, like I said, we got to take turns of going first because I've gone first the last four since the beginning of the season. So, yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
So that's the game. I just thought that we didn't control it well enough. And I still think, for me, there's still a lot of worrying concerns, especially if we don't sign a centre midfielder. I don't think we need two.
So when's the transfer close on Saturday, doesn't it? Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay, and we got the early kickoff against the Blue Shites on Saturday too, which is good. So 9:30 kickoff here in Australia.
Yeah, cool. And I think if we don't get that, we're going to have a really bad season. Because I mean, Newcastle game, we were a bit lucky, and when we verse a proper opposition next time. Like you play like that against an Arsenal, we're not winning. We play like that against City, we're getting smashed.
Yeah, that's right, 100%. And 100%. We're going to any top team this year. We're not going to, if we don't get something happening. I don't know, like hopefully.
I mean, we lost to Manchester United, and like I said, in the form they were in, like you can only imagine what City or Chelsea, which again they lost to Southampton, so Chelsea are not really playing that well. But Arsenal, City,
Haaland scored a hat trick in the first half. From I don't know how the result finished. Stevie G he's having a torrid time at Villa. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll last much longer at Villa. He's had a pretty poor run, hasn't he? I mean, let's look at let's go around and see the other results. Let's see what ended up happening. Arsenal beat Villa. City won 6-0 against Forest. There we go. Well, far out. Haaland, yeah,
that's a battering.
That's a battering. It's not a 9-0 battering, but it's a battering nonetheless. Right. Leicester and United play tomorrow morning, and then we got the Blue Shites on Saturday. That'll be at Goodison Park.
And if we beat them 9-0, Frank Lampard will be gone next, mate. We'll send another manager to retirement. But you know what, man? I felt like what Parker said, they got him sacked. Did you hear what he said?
I missed it. What did he say?
Oh, well, to the effect of, look, we got battered. And, I think they needed I think what did he something like basically giving them the excuse to be battered, right? Because they just and I think the problem is
okay. You can't say that then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're taking away the accountability from the players, right? Because then
correct. At the end of the day, even though they got promoted, they're still a Premier League team, and you shouldn't get smashed like that. To be fair, but look, I feel sorry for Scott. Like, look who he had in his first 3 games: Arsenal, City, Liverpool. Oh, in the first, within the first 4 or 5 rounds.
I think Bournemouth is the only team where we've spent more than they have. No, look, that's a joke. In terms of net spend, in terms of the money that we've put into the club after the transfer money, right? So, I mean, look, I think sacking him is a bit harsh. I think he was very emotional after getting smacked. No one wants to get smacked 9-0, man. I still think he's a good manager. I think he's better than Gerrard, and I definitely think he's better than Lampard. I think if you put Scotty Parker at Aston Villa, they play better, right? Yeah. So Stevie should just come back and be on our first team bench or something, just to rev the players up a bit and to help us put
maybe who knows what's going to happen next. Yeah,
or maybe go back to Rangers. Look, the point would be Everton's going to be a tricky game again because, and I'm going with a 1-0 win. Because they're going to be fired up for the game.
They're going to be fired up, and I think they're going to do very similar tactics to what Newcastle did. They're going to be diving. They're going to be dropping all over the place.
They're going to try to play. They're going to try to play that long ball to Tyler Gordon.
Yeah, and I certainly don't think. I mean, I certainly don't look. Even if we play terribly, or if we play, I still don't think Everton will win. They're just not. They're nowhere near good enough at the moment.
And they spend a lot of money. They spend a bit of money.
Yeah, did they spend much in the off season, or apparently they were they spent I know they spent a bit over the last few years, and
maybe you're right. Yeah,
they haven't performed, right? They had some good players there, and they couldn't put it together. So, yeah, I'm going to go. What did you pick? A 1-0? I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3-1.
Sorry, man. I'm coughing and I'm sneezing.
No, it's fine. I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Everton 1. I definitely think we're going to be. I mean, even if we have an improvement on today, I still think we're going to. I just think they're really Everton are very poor at the moment. Like I said at the beginning of the season, they're in some serious trouble, and I mean, where they've only had 2. I think they've got 2 points so far, which is kind of a surprise. Oh, I'm surprised they got that many points already like this. I'm seriously. I'm tipping them for another relegation battle, right? Everton, how many points have they got? Let's have a look. 3. They're on. They got 4 points. Do they know points? Where am I? Points. Yeah, 3 points. Right. They've drawn 3 games. Lost 2. Yeah, they're in a bit of trouble. I definitely think so. Anyway, Liverpool 3, Everton 1. That's my score prediction. Scorers will be I can see Salah coming out if he performs. A goal for Salah. I'm going to go Harvey Elliott, and Salah, Harvey Elliott, and
Nunez.
Nunez is back. Yeah, Nunez, Salah, and Harvey Elliott are going to score. I can't wait. I'm excited to see Darwin play. Nunez play now. I missed him for 3 games, man.
But you know what though, Bobby. The first game he came in for Nunez was terrible, but the last 2 games he's
been good. Like like I said in the Bournemouth game, he was that linchpin in that front 3. That when he's performing, like you said, when he's performing, the other 2 are performing. And he did really well. Unfortunately, Salah wasn't doing well down the flank. But anyway, that's the score. That's it. That's the score prediction. I can't wait. Saturday, freaking the Merseyside derby. What a game!
And then who do you think will be in midfield? Do you think Klopp's going to rest Fabinho? Because it's only 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think if anything, maybe he'll bring Fab on. Maybe Fab will start and then he'll go off, depending on how the game's going. Yeah, he might do one or the other. He might be like, put him on the bench and see how the game's going, then bring him on or not. It depends. It depends on how early we start scoring goals and we're in the lead, or it depends if we need to get goals or whatever, or we need to defend. And it just, I definitely think Klopp will go in the mentality of trying to get a couple of goals up early, and then maybe resting Fabinho and then bringing Fabinho on in the second half just to kind of ride out like a 2-0 or like I said 3-1. But I don't know.
I think a lot of Klopp substitutes in this game were in preparation and to keep them a bit fitter for the Everton game.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Robbo and Trent. Yeah.
For me, it's the same team. That's except with the exception of Firmino will drop out for Nunez, which, to be fair to Firmino, is a little bit harsh. If he could play right wing, I would drop Salah. Because if you look at the form in the last few games...
100%. And that's the thing that's frustrating. Like, look, it's been a bit frustrating the last couple of games, like, to see... Well, more so, like, he's got this new big contract. And, like, to be fair, I'm going to be critical. I mean, I thought he should have at least... I know the ball... There was a couple of times the ball came in high. He should have got that... Like, he's got such a wonderful first touch, Salah. There was one that he could have controlled and shot first time, and he just fluffed it. I think, come on, man, we're paying you all this money. That's the sort of shit you need to be doing and performing for,
Big wages, bad performances don't sit with me well. That'll get me fired up for some good content for social media.
Yeah,
because
you go.
When you sell 2 players to pay for a wage,
you want performance, right? And then see Salah didn't performance that he should have. Like there was a moment there where, like I said, the ball came in, his first touch should have been on point, bang, done, second shot, goal, but he didn't. He fluffed it, it bounced, and the defenders got on it. I'm like, and that was straight away. And I turned to Shannon, who was watching that game with me, and I said, there you go, that's a perfect example of someone taking the money. I said, you're paying him this much money a week. What's he on a week? £200,000 a week?
Who, Salah?
Yeah, what's he on? I can't remember.
It'd be close to like 400. What are you talking about?
Whatever. Sorry, I don't know. You're the figures man, not me. Right?
No, I'm not the figures man, but I'm sure. Like,
yeah, so he's got that much money a week. I said, and the balls come in. You tell me you can't grab that. You touch that first time, the old Salah, that was frustrating. The old Salah would have 100%.
The old Salah would have put that away, and Suarez put a more difficult one away, which is why I still miss that true number 9 poacher.
Well, that's why we're excited about Darwin Nunez, right? So get out of it.
And I'm hoping that he really needs to electrify our front line, because we need to make up for our weak midfield, because Darren, as much as I don't want to say this, I don't see us signing a centre midfielder that, even if we do, someone was going to like raise my one eyebrow. I don't see it happening, mate, because I just want
to. I'm hoping that there's something's behind the scenes, but anyway, we got to wrap this up, dude. We've got to keep on cracking. It's 8:10. I've got to be at work in 15 minutes with my kids around the corner.
Nunez scores the goal. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Have a good week. We'll see you on Saturday or Sunday, whenever we do the podcast. But yes.
Mellor, lovely cushion header. But Gerrard! Oh, you beauty!